This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Welcome to News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell, and it's Tuesday, June 22nd. Well, you may have already heard, but they released a tease today about a show that we've been working on for about 5 years now, and I'm shooting for about 2 years. But it's called Small Town News, about KPVM TV here in Pahrump. It's a 6-part, half-hour documentary series, which they say pulls back the curtain on life at this privately owned TV station in the small desert town of Pahrump, Nevada, revealing what they are calling a colorful cast of characters in front of and behind the cameras. It was executive produced by Emmy-winning filmmakers Fenton Bailey and Randy Barbado from HBO's Catch and Kill, the podcast tapes, and Carrie Fisher, Wishful Drinking, along with our producers Nikki Calabrese and Nelson Walters. Small Town News, KPVM TV Pahrump, provides an entertaining glimpse, they say, into a scrappy, hardworking local news broadcaster looking to expand into a bigger market during challenging times. With warmth and humor, they say the series celebrates the can-do spirit, community pride, and political diversity among the station's charismatic and often humorous employees. The documentary series premieres with 2 back-to-back episodes on Monday, August 2nd on HBO and HBO Max, and that is going to air at 6 p.m. on those days, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We hope that you join us and watch it. Of course, you can see the tease today on our local Pahrump Facebook page, and there'll be more to come. It's going to be so much fun, and we hope that we get a second series. That's what we're waiting for, a second season. All right. Well, Nevada Highway Patrol is investigating a fatal motorcycle crash on State Route 375 here in Nye County.
The crash happened last Tuesday, June 15th, on State Route 375, 4 miles south of the junction with US 6. Nevada Highway Patrol says its preliminary investigation determined that a motorcycle traveling north on 375 drove off the right side of the roadway and overturned onto its side, where the rider was ejected. That rider, identified as 65-year-old Alex Thompson of Texarkana, Texas, died at the scene. NHP says Thompson was riding with 3 other motorcyclists who were not involved in the crash. Since this is an ongoing investigation, if you have any information about the crash, you're asked to contact the Nevada Highway Patrol Elko office.
Well, the Nye County Sheriff's Office has released desk cam and body cam video of the burglary call that led to a pursuit and crash in Pahrump last week. That includes a list of possibly 2 charges the 2 suspects now face.
Friday, June 18th, deputies received a report of a burglary in progress on Linda Street. While en route, they learned that one of the 2 suspect vehicles had fled the scene. Moments later, deputies spotted that vehicle, a black SUV towing a trailer, on Blagg Road, and a pursuit began. The sheriff's office says the vehicle reached speeds of up to 130 miles per hour. At the intersection of Blagg Road and Gamebird Road, the vehicle drove into the desert. Officers caught up with the vehicle again, heading southbound on Highway 160. Nevada Highway Patrol troopers in Clark County were preparing to deploy stop sticks to stop the vehicle, but the driver turned around near Tacopa Road, heading back toward Pahrump. At this time, an off-duty sheriff's office administrator joined the pursuit, positioning themselves in front of the suspect's vehicle in an effort to prevent that speeding vehicle from getting back into the valley. Eventually, the administrator maneuvered his vehicle in such a way that the suspect chose to drive into the desert to avoid a crash and landed in a ravine, disabling the vehicle. The suspect, later identified as 38-year-old Jacob Hupai of Las Vegas, jumped out of the vehicle and led deputies on a short foot pursuit before he was taken into custody. The passenger, identified as 33-year-old Gemma Jones of Las Vegas, was taken into custody as well. Hupai was booked into jail for conspiracy to commit burglary, possession of burglary tools, driver disobeying a peace officer, reckless driving, and possession of a controlled substance. Jones was booked for conspiracy to commit burglary, possession of burglary tools, and possession of a controlled substance.
All right, well, when we head into this break, we are going to show you that tease of our new show called Small Town News, and we'll be back in just a moment.
I went to a buddy of mine. I told him I'm going to build a TV station in the middle of the desert. He said, "What are you thinking?"
I love doing the news. It's like an addiction.
You girls ready? It's kind of like pitch and catch.
That's exactly what we do. He's the pitcher and I'm the catcher.
Now we're going to expand into the Vegas marketplace.
My concern is the station is barely sustaining itself.
We got a weather report for you. Whoa! I have faith in everybody here to do the job. This is exactly what this station is about.
I'm the only person that stays here because I have no self-esteem.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back. Belarus is getting slapped with sanctions by the Biden administration. Top executives at Lordstown Motors sold stock right before the company reported bad news, and salad chain Sweetgreen plans to go public.
Here's Angela Miles with today's Business First Brief.
Belarus is getting slapped with sanctions by the Biden administration. The Treasury Department is blacklisting 16 people and 5 entities in response to that forced landing of a Ryanair flight. European Union leaders see it as a hijacking of that commercial jet. Talk about timing. A regulatory filing reported by the Wall Street Journal reveals top executives at Lordstown Motors sold more than $8 million in stock in early February. That was just before Lordstown reported disappointing earnings for its first quarter, showing a net loss of $100 million. Salad chain Sweetgreen has confidentially applied for an initial public offering. According to the New York Times, in 2019, the chain's revenue topped $300 million. That's a lot of lettuce.
To find out where you can see us every day, go to businessfirstam.com.
Well, an offset head-on collision on March 27th on Highway 95 took the lives of 3 people. Michael Durmeyer, Lauren Starchevich, and Durmeyer's 12-year-old daughter, Georgia, were killed in that crash. They were all from Victor, Idaho. Lauren has 2 other children, and they were on a spring break trip. Now, Tyler Kennedy is facing 5 counts of reckless driving causing substantial death or injury and possibly DUI. District Attorney Chris Arabia spoke to News 25 about the case.
3 people were killed, a man and his daughter and his fiance, and the fiance's 2 kids survived. And what we're trying to do, the preliminary hearing was originally going to be last week. He's been charged so far with 5 counts of reckless driving causing death or substantial injury, and we are trying to I've got several people in my office working on trying to build a case for DUI, and we've had to really look at reviewing different physical evidence and bringing in scientists to kind of go over that evidence. The preliminary hearing, as a result, was moved to August 30th and 31st in Beatty, and the defendant is still in custody in the Nye County Detention Center. It was a very traumatic thing obviously for the families and for the victims and the first responders. It was really, a bad scene, and we're not going to rest until we do everything we can. And I can't guarantee that we're going to have the evidence to, at this point, to go forward on a DUI. I'm optimistic that with the quality of the team that we have working on this, that if it can be proven, it will be proven. And so we're not going to rest until we make sure we've done everything possible.
The sheriff's office came out saying that one of their officers had contact with that driver prior to this incident, and that they had made comments about the DUI. Did the test results not come back to substantiate that?
Well, what I can tell you is that if we had, for example, blood work that said that the guy had a 0.23, blood alcohol content or something, he'd be charged with DUI right now. The fact is that there was discussion, I think originally from NHP, that when the accident first happened, that there was suspicion of DUI, and that's fair, but we actually have to have the evidence to be able to demonstrate that, and that's what we're working on. There was apparently someone from the Nye County Sheriff's Office had contact with Mr. Kennedy in the time before the accident, but at this point I don't want to really comment any further on any of the specifics of that for a variety of reasons, but that's my understanding as well. And so that kind of complicates things, I guess.
Well, there has been 2 GoFundMe accounts set up for the families involved. One is for Michael and Georgia Dermeyer's final arrangements, and you can find that one on GoFundMe by searching Bring Hope to the Dermeyers. And the other fund is set up for Lauren's daughter Emerson, and you can find that by searching Emerson's Emergency Fund. Kennedy, the suspect, was also recently in Pahrump Justice Court and is facing additional charges since he's been in jail for voluntary sex conduct with a prisoner. Well, News 25 will return right after this break.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by Canyon Ridge Periodontics. Give them a call at 702-966-0302.
Welcome back. Pahrump Valley Farm Rescue and Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies were dispatched to a report of a vehicle on fire on South Homestead Road yesterday morning. They say that this four-wheeler caught fire. The rider says that he saw flames from the engine area of this bike as he was traveling down the roadway. Of course, this was a complete loss, and the rider of this off-road vehicle did not sustain any injuries, but was checked out by medics at the time of this incident. Well, a man is arrested on 5 different counts after an alleged home invasion.
Sheriff's deputies responded to a reported burglary call on Jeremy Court when a neighbor noticed a broken window on the residence. When they arrived, they learned that a firearm was stolen and there was a dead dog located in the bathroom. During the investigation, deputies learned that the residents were on vacation. A broken window was found in the bedroom, and there were several open drawers and cabinets. It appeared that several electronic items might have been taken. Law enforcement conducted a follow-up the next day after the residents returned home. They stated they had noticed several electronic items missing: a Remington shotgun, a guitar and amplifier, Xbox, and 2 laptops. The victims stated that the suspects had also eaten snacks from the pantry and took 2 bottles of liquor. A neighborhood resident stated that he saw neighborhood kids acting suspiciously around the time of the burglary, and he believed he knew who the suspect was and said his name was Sebastian Frank. He said Frank had been to the residence and he knew the family was out of town. He said that Frank had a history of breaking into houses. The victims stated that there was approximately $12,414 worth of items taken from the home. As the investigation continued, contact was made with the uncle of the juveniles that lived at the residence. When the deputy mentioned that the suspect in the investigation had stolen liquor, the man stated that the juveniles at the residence had just gotten into trouble for being drunk and they did not know where they had gotten the alcohol. The juveniles denied having anything to do with the crime. Later, the father of the juveniles called the sheriff's office and said that Frank was a guest at his house. After finding out the juveniles had been drinking, he searched their rooms and found a guitar and 2 laptops. He said that he had Frank and the juveniles at his home, and his sons said Frank confessed to breaking into the home. According to the declaration of arrest, Frank admitted to breaking into the residence using a shovel that was located next to the window. He stated that he took multiple items from the residence. Other juveniles denied having anything to do with the burglary, but found out after. Frank said the juveniles had entered the residence with him and helped him carry the stolen items out. Deputies recovered the shotgun, multiple video games and controllers, and 1 of the stolen bottles of alcohol from the residence. Sebastian Frank was arrested for home invasion, residential burglary, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, possession of stolen property, and grand larceny. He was booked into Nye County Detention Center without incident.
Thank you to Missy Kohler for that report. Well, Nye Communities Coalition offers a variety of free classes throughout the year. They focus on everything from suicide prevention to first aid. Community health worker Leanne Luna has a schedule of what's on tap.
Hi, my name is Leanne Luna. I am with Nye Communities Coalition, and I have a few trainings to offer under the Mental Health Awareness Training Grant. We have Safe Talk on June 26th from 8 to 12. It's a 4-hour training that's suicide specific, that teaches you how to approach someone who might be in crisis and keep them safe. I have an adult mental health first aid training that's happening at the NYCC on Friday, July 26th from 8 to 5. It is a training that will teach you what a mental health disorder looks like, how to approach somebody who might be in crisis, how to keep them safe and get them to help. I have a free youth mental health first aid course on Thursday, July 22nd from 8 to 5. This is a course that will teach you what might be the difference between normal adolescent development and a child in crisis. So please come to this training. My email address is Leanne, Leann, at nicecc.org. My telephone number, 775-727-9970, extension 204.
Well, many public pools and beaches are finally back open, and while they can be a great way to cool off with your kids on a hot summer day, it's important to keep safety in mind.
The most common instance really of these drownings or near drownings happen in public pools and or private pools where there are a large amount of people, and that might come across as a surprise.
According to the CDC, about 10 people drown in the United States every day. Drowning is also considered the leading cause of death, aside from birth defects, for kids between the ages of 1 and 4 years old. Dr. Purva Grover, who is an emergency medicine physician for Cleveland Clinic Children's, says parents need to keep a close eye on their kids at all times. It doesn't matter how good of a swimmer they might be or if they're using a flotation device. An accident can happen anywhere. She says if you are spending the day at the pool or beach, make sure your kids are taking frequent breaks from the water. They should also avoid swimming on an empty stomach. And finally, if you don't know how to do CPR, make sure you learn.
You can truly save a life if you do good CPR at the site. There is multiple literature which has shown us that, especially when we're talking about drowning specifically, CPR given at site can truly modify the overall outcome and can prevent long-term disability and death as well.
Dr. Grover says if you own a pool, it should be properly fenced off so your kids can't go out there unsupervised. She always tells parents if their child goes missing, check the pool first.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Hi, good evening. It's John Kohler staring out the KPVM weather window at the beautiful town of Elko. Look at Elko today. A little cloudy, a little bit cooler than before. We've got statewide weather and all your local news coming back in a second.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios. What a delight to see you on a Taco Tuesday, and the temperatures are moderating. Oh, isn't that nice? Check it out. Fernley, Fallon, Carson City, Tonopah, all the way down to Goldfield. You're enjoying, let's say, low 90s. And as we approach the gateway to Death Valley, Beatty, you're up to triple digits. There you go. 100 degrees, right on the money. Amargosa, 104. Las Vegas, also 104. And in Death Valley, a pleasant 115 degrees. You know they're not sweating it anymore. Like, oh, it's only 115. Hey, here in the paradise of Pahrump, where the air is pure, the grass is green, and everybody's just slightly sweaty because it's 99 degrees. What a difference just a few degrees makes. I can't believe it. It was 100 degrees earlier, but it wasn't like 115. And I'm loving this day. South-southwesterly winds to 17 miles per hour as the sun rose this morning at 5:26 a.m. We're picking up an extra minute of night. Look at that. Setting this evening at 8:04 p.m. We got some clouds in the skies, and we'll be enjoying those temperatures down to 79 degrees tonight. Will that wind go away tomorrow? No, it's not. It's going to go away Thursday. Pretty much we'll have some moderating winds, but temperatures dipping nicely. 90 degrees tomorrow, sneaking up throughout the rest of the week, but we're going to have a nice day tomorrow. Check that out, other than the wind. And the rest of the week, 10-mile-an-hour winds, clear skies, temperatures sneaking up back up to like 105, kind of average temperature. What are you going to do? Enjoy tomorrow. How about that? I'll make a plan for it. Back to the desk. Here's Deanna.
Thanks so much, John. Well, expanding your academic reach might not be what most schools have been able to do during the pandemic. But in Florida, a championship MMA fighter with a big vision has seen this as a perfect time to grow his fight for high-risk teams, possibly because now more than ever, some students need the kind of support he's offering. Kim Martinez reports.
If you're not fluid in the cage, as when I was an undefeated MMA fighter, you better learn how to be fluid.
To be sure, Daniel Pewter, a former MMA championship fighter, is fluid, especially when it comes to finding effective ways to help high-risk kids. He's now successfully running schools that not only focus intensely on students' academic needs, but give his kids invaluable life coaching, supporting both their emotional and mental well-being.
The idea is if you're 100% focused on life, you'll get 100% out.
At My Life, My Power International Preparatory Academies, the first 30 minutes of every school day are spent in classes that focus on motivating students. All of the teachers are trained on Daniel Pewter's own brand of self-help for high-risk kids.
So we have students that are in foster care, that are coming out of a DJJ program, that are homeless. We've had like failing out, being expelled, being arrested, like you name it, we see it all. So getting them to come in here and understanding why they're doing this. This isn't just about learning math, science, English, social studies. This is about a step-by-step learning how to show up for themselves.
The Preparatory Academy started with just 3 students 2 years ago, and now they have 6 locations and 500 students. That's a big undertaking since they address every child's needs, every child's interests, and they're looking for every potential path to success for their kids.
Like use us to add value, but also when you guys are out there, if you ever need something, come back.
As the My Life, My Power schools expand, the settings remain small, so students who might have been at risk for dropping out instead show up every day to learn in an environment conducive to their success.
We don't want big schools. I want tighter-knit, family-based schools where kids can learn in small ratios of classes, where they can have hands-on.
Schools that are fluid, that focus on the future and ultimately change lives by changing students' mindsets. That's what you'll find when you step onto a My Life, My Power campus. Kim Martinez reporting.
And we do have some breaking news that Lindsay Fawn, who was that missing teen from Las Vegas who had ties here to Pahrump, has been found, and she is at home safe. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell from all of us here at KPVM TV and Ace Country Radio. Have a great night. See you back here tomorrow.